welcome back to the channel. Today we got our first unboxing of the year, our first Expo. So let's see what everything I got in the first Expo of the year. So this is from the Tri-State Fishing Expo. It's in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. It's usually a pretty good one. They do say that next year is supposed to be bigger. They're getting more vendors and more places to put vendors next year. So, but overall, still a really good show. So kind of go through everything I got. Go from there. First place I stopped at was called Basililla Baits, made right here in Harrisburg, Kentucky. And this is their ribbon tail worm. I think he says a 10-inch. Can't remember. But it's a floaty type material, but it's not like a pure, like, you know, like a Z-Man TPE material. But it does got a little stretch. He said it has a mixture of it. I didn't know you can mix TPE, and we'll see. But it sat in the water really, really nice, and it did have a little slight stand up. It wasn't like a Z-Man bait, but it had a nice stand, so I'm thinking I made it pretty sweet on a shaky worm or anything. He's got these little coils near the back, so that should help dispute water, but at the end of the day, it's a 10-inch worm. This is green pumpkin red flake. I forget what this color was called, but it reminded me like a, just all black with some flake in it. Some purple flake, black, purple and blue flake. I think that might just be a really good nighttime bait. But got those two from him. Went over to Tournament Tackle. They're in Morris, Illinois, and picked up a couple things. They had a couple sales. I think they were like, they had some bigger sales, but stuff I bought, I think they were on like 10% off or something. But picked up one, that's all he had, of my favorite football jig. This is the Beast Coast Tungsten Baby Dozer. I started playing with a 7/16 last year, and I fell in love with this more than the 5/8. Because typically I'm fishing like 12 foot and shallower, and 7/16 just hangs up a lot less than a 5/8, because 5/8 is more designed for deeper water. So 7/16, that's in Stealth Crawl, my favorite color. You guys have seen these. I love that crawl a lot. They had these, which are new. They're pretty much based off the BizBaits design, but it's Missiles version now. It's called the eye roll, and it's got a welded ring in the head. BizBaits, I like theirs. They're more like a shad profile. This is more like a ball head. So I just want to try them out, see if I like these better than Biz. These are definitely a lot more expensive. This is $10 for two. It's kind of outrageous, but picked up 3/16 3/0. Should fit any of my 4-inch, 4.5-inch, no problem. And I've been meaning to do this for a while. I just keep forgetting on all my TW orders is to order another pack of baby D-bombs, but in Super Bug. I ran out of these like probably a year ago, over a year ago, and I just keep forgetting to order more. So it's a little, I think they're 4-inch or 3.5. I forget what the baby D-bomb size are, but they're really nice. And why I want to get a big 30-pack now, just another 5-pack or something. One, they're soft, so missile baits smell the best. I got black licorice. Hate the taste of licorice, but I love the smell of licorice. But because if I don't want to flip that day, you can just cut these down, and I love these for like a finesse jig trailer. They have a little kick. They're just a really nice just profile. But yeah, I want to do some more flipping this year with some downsized beavers, and with that being Super Bug, you saw green pumpkin on one side, a green pumpkin blue, the other side being black blue. If the water is clean, I can keep green pumpkin blue on top. If it's dirty, I can flip it around. So it kind of gives me a good variety in that pack. But at the end of the day, it's a baby D-bomb. They work all times. Then we went over and stopped at our buddies over at Lynchfield Lures. Told you guys to go stop by. Sadly, Jeff did not have any footballs out, but I did pick up some of his flipping jigs that are pretty solid. I like them a lot. And I want to get some more crawl colors this year, like a green pumpkin red, green pumpkin orange. I'll pull out a couple of these, but I picked up hot sauce. That's a green pumpkin. And then the orange is like kind of spaced out. Tin cup, that's my favorite. No, sorry. Yeah, I think Striker isn't matter, but the same. This one's got orange flake. Striker is pretty much the same, but a lot less muted orange. Lot less flake. So, and then the last one is Indian Crawl. Pretty standard head design on these. Nothing crazy, nothing wow you. Pretty standard weed guard, but the hook is pretty sweet. It's an owner hook, if I remember right. Yeah, it's owner hook. Can't remember if he put it on here or not. Yeah, I know it's an owner hook, but that big gaff. I mean, it comes up. I know some people like when their hooks are bent up. These are light enough that you can bend the hook back a little bit and give you that arc if you need. But to me, these are just fine. A lot more finer skirt. You know, it's not a big, bulky skirt, so kind of more on the finer side. He does not wire tie them, if I remember right. Can't remember. Nope, they are wire tied. He's got the wire tied, and they're wire tied, so if you guys like wire tied. But overall, just real solid. Like I said, the hook's not super stout, so normal, standard, medium heavy. Jig rod's just fine. But yeah, the only ones I had left, which I found out the other day, is like more like black and blues. So when we were there, I picked up more. These were all 3/8. Did order some football jigs. So whenever he gets them made up, I'll stop by and get some football jigs. We were about to leave, and Aaron stopped at the Jake's Lures joint. You guys seen their baits last year. I didn't pick any more up this year. And they were showing off their new 2.75 tube. I have the 3-inch, I think, if I remember right, or 3 1/4. And they were showing off a stupid tube head, and we're like, when you guys make that? He don't make it. This guy named SC Bait Company makes a stupid tube head, and I picked up in the 1/8 1/0. This thing is a baby. There's a lot of times this year we were catching keeper size smallmouth and largemouth on a downsized tube around wood. Once again, downsizing just seems like the plan anymore. And I kept having a hard time getting a small tube to be weedless and flip around cover. I had to flip on the outside. Aaron had a decent setup with the Great Lakes Finesse, because you can take that hook and bury it, and then when he sets the hook, he gets it. So when we saw these little guys, we knew it was over. So pretty light wire hook though, so that's my only real concern. But he's the only one I know makes these. It looks like it's not a trocar heart. I think it's just a needle point. It's a needle point hook, but it is pretty light wire. So that's the only problem with them. I wish they were a little bit stouter. I did ask him if he could make an HD version down the road. Seemed like he just makes them for himself and just makes a couple more for people. So I told him, I was like, well, if you make an HD version, I will probably buy a 20 pack of them. I'll buy enough to cover the material and all that. But yeah, so I think that's gonna be really cool. I think it's gonna be a big player. It might not lead to any tournament wins, but it's gonna lead into us getting a couple extra fish in a boat, which could lead into, you know, a win or something. Last thing I did is we went and stopped by l.omeara bearings. I've always rocked Speed Spool, but they're having a hard time finding them on sale. Honestly, I gotta say, anytime I enjoy all products, but if I can get it on sale, I'm gonna buy it. But except that, I know l.omeara is more of a local company, so I wanted to just try them out. And I needed bearings for that Daiwa's 2-100 you guys saw me pick up later in the year, that new frog combo. The bearings are pretty much shot, so I did pick up a set for my Daiwa. And that one of my SLXs, I don't know which one yet, I'm gonna put in some bearings in that one as well. He threw in this screwdriver, little screwdriver thing. Oh, it's kind of cool. Got a real cover he threw in. He threw in a real cover in because he had these reels available. So if you don't know, these are the Okuma. I'm not even trying to pronounce that word. I don't know. I think Okuma came out a couple years ago, and I think they're around that $200 price point. So they're pretty solid from what I can tell in here. I got a 7-speed. They look good, nice and black, oversized EVA handles. It's got a little lure keeper or lure line teller. I just put 16 on because I'm gonna put it on here. Pull that tab up to get your side plate out, and you just kind of wiggle it out. But I mean, it's pretty standard magnetic braking system. This does have his upgraded bearings in it, so that's why I picked this one up. So the magnets just line on here. When you turn this out, it pulls the magnets farther or closer away from the spool. They do put a bearing on this shaft, which I think is really cool. Used to do it at the speed spool size. Now you have to, where it used to be $100. Now the XLs don't carry them with that little bearing, that 5-cent bearing. And Shimano, you're getting the Bantam series get it. So all that does is just makes your spool a little bit easier, because you got a bearing on there. Haven't tore it apart yet, but from the reviews I saw all the internals were pretty solid from what I've been reading. But then he also put a bearing in here. His bearing packs are typically your cash control and your spool tensions, which most bearing upgrades are. It's those 2 packs. But they're ceramic, so a little loud. But overall, it doesn't need to be oiled. He said he didn't oil it. He got them in, put his bearings in it, put it back in the pack. So they do need to be oiled. Not so bad out of the box. Drop a couple. Probably just need whole reel needs to be oiled up, and then I don't know. In my opinion, from what I've used, I feel like bearings almost not really broke in, but it just seems like my reels, when I first bring them out of the pack, they might sound like, I'm like, oh, this thing sucks. It's not even that smooth. And then I use it for a full day, and I'm like, wow, this thing is it's broke in. So not sure that's really true or not. It just, from my personal experience, it seems like reels need to be broke in. But overall, I mean, looks like a pretty good reel. It's all black. I mean, it's nice and basic. So, and he had them on sale for $110, and I got it for $100. So I think for $100, can't really complain for a 7-speed reel. That looks good. I mean, it just looks good. So I think it's kind of hard for me to say that reel is not going to be good or not. So, but for $100, I'm very happy with the purchase overall. So that's it. It wasn't a big spending spree because I do have other events, so I didn't want to blow all my money on the first one. But overall, it's pretty good pickup. I need to get more football jigs for the year, some smaller sizes like 3/8, 7/16. Wasn't a market for a reel, but for, like I said, $100, it's kind of hard to pass it up. But I'm going through my arsenal. I'll probably be selling a bunch of rods and reels to pay for a new arsenal for next year. A lot are staying, but there is going to be some changes. There's probably about 5 or 6 rods that are probably going to leave the arsenal, but that's just normal stuff, switching out stuff every year. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the first unboxing of 2026. It's still kind of weird to say. If you have any questions about this stuff or any other questions, let me know in the comments section. But until then, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.